Do you believe that Singapore has a dark side? Do you know there are nightlife that actually offer sexual services? And do you know that there are Singaporeans trying to make a living in such a job? And some refuse to believe that there are people in Singapore who suffer in silence. Hi guys, welcome to episode 5 in Suffer in Silence SG. Thank you for those of you who have been supporting us, who has been listening to our stories, whether via YouTube or via Spotify. Well, tonight I'm going to bring about a story from someone who has been to the dark sides in Singapore. I got this text, and after reading the story, it is rather sad, because as we know, Singapore is actually known for its strict laws, and we also know that authorities conduct checks on nightlife hotspots. But nevertheless, there are always gaps, and this is where the dark side is. So let's not waste time. Let's directly go into story time. Hi Rizwan. I am presently in my mid-30s. I wish to share my story when I was in my 20s. I used to mix with the wrong crowd and have a bad taste in men. I had on a few separate occasions got pregnant due to unprotected sex. Sadly, I was mainly intoxicated during those events, and I did not know the father to my children. It was hard for me to make ends meet. Although the government hospitals have subsidies for labour, I still need to find ways to feed my children. I am estranged to my parents, who have never regarded me as their child since I was merely 21. I was lucky that I had a good friend who allowed me to stay for her for years without even collecting any rent. However, she got married, and there was no way for me to continue staying with her. I also could not secure a job as I was not well educated. I tried several admin jobs, however could not hold the jobs as there were times when my children were not able to be cared for. I managed, with the help of my MP, to get a public rental flat. However, it was difficult for me to hold a job, as I was taking up ad hoc jobs to take care of a few of my neighbours' children whilst they were working. However, they were actually not well-to-do and at times were unable to pay me in time, and the amount was also very low. I then got to know from a neighbour that there is a job that is at night, where I am to work in a karaoke bar. My neighbour was willing to help me take care of my children whilst I went to work. I was introduced one day to this lady who was being called Mummy. She was at least about 40 years in age roughly and was very well dressed. My neighbour brought me to meet her at a coffee shop near our house. She told me that I can actually earn about $50 per night to even $500 per night on some peak periods. I immediately accepted her offer. She told me to dress sexily when I turned up for work. She explained that my job was to sing with clients. So, cut short, on my very first day, I had borrowed a short dress from my neighbour. My neighbor told me to just be open-minded and think about the amount of money I needed for my children. I did not know what to expect, but I just soldiered on. When I arrived, it was at a shop house that has been converted into a bar. As I entered, I saw a group of foreign ladies from different countries there. Mommy said that these are not my colleagues, and I was led to a higher floor by taking a lift at the back. So when we arrived at the top floor, I was greeted by about 7 to 10 local ladies, and they introduced themselves and led me to a room that had been designated as a restroom. I was then briefed that my job would be to entertain guests by drinking and singing with them. If I'm lucky, there would be multiple rooms for me. So on the first night at about 10 p.m, Mommy actually called for us to enter a room for something that she called a parade. So when the room door opened, we walked in a straight line into the room and stood in front of a group of men who were seen smiling and ogling at us. So at this point, it felt awkward and the men started whispering to each other. They then each started pointing to the ladies that they liked, and the ladies automatically went forward to shake their hands and sat by their side. At that moment, the men were seen placing their arms around the ladies' shoulders and started whispering and laughing. I was not chosen, along with several other ladies, and we went to the restroom again. I then asked another nice lady, what happens when we are chosen? The lady giggled and told me that the men chose the ones that they are interested in based on looks mainly. Once chosen, it would be our job to make the man happy. If he likes to drink, we drink. We must ensure that their glasses are never empty, and whenever they raise their glasses, we must join them. So Mommy actually came in and briefly explained to me that when in the room, whenever we need to fill the glasses, we will need to kneel down on the floor, ensure that the glass has ice if our client wants it, and pour the liquor and the mixer of their choice. We can only return to our seat once we have filled the glass. So our team in the room would actually take turns filling up glass around the table. So this would actually reduce time that we need to fill our client's glass. Take turns. So in a few minutes, we were called upon to another room. I was chosen this time. So the man who chose me was a middle-aged man, which I believe to be in his late 30s. The first thing he said was, "First day, I like fresh meat." I was kind of shocked and felt awkward, but I forced a smile. It went rather well in the first few minutes as he conversed nicely to me and his hands were merely over my shoulder. Shortly after, I was singled out by Mommy to leave the room. Mommy said there was another room. I was chosen again. Little did I realize that I had a total of 5 rooms in my first night. Mommy then told me to watch my drinks and try not to drink too much, or else I would easily be drunk. Luckily, I was able to hold my liquor. So as the night grew, the men I was with started making me feel more comfortable and we had good conversations. As they started to drink more, their hands started lowering towards my back and started caressing my back. I was then called upon by Mommy and told to take a 15 minutes break in the restroom. That was when I met another lady who told me stand by for R&B. I asked, what was that? And she said that that would be when the room lights were dimmed and there would be 3 R&B songs played. This is where we had to give lap dances and make the clients happy. I asked further and she started laughing. She said, just say, sorry, tonight my first day and I'm on period and all will be fine. Well, this worried me. As time go by, I was called upon to the first room for R&B. The lights were off and we started the dance. So by this time, I was a bit tipsy but still aware of my surroundings. As the dance progressed, the men started groping my back and even chest area. I was shocked but just kept quiet. I repeated what was told to me and the men did not progress further. So at the end of the night, I was given $50 by hand for each of the 5 rooms. That was my first 250 in a night, working from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. So I was very happy to earn that amount and exchange contacts with my colleagues. Cut it short, as I continued to work, I was told that if I performed special services from oral all the way to intercourse, I would possibly earn 100 all the way up to 250 per customer that I served. So after a few months, greed overcame as I knew I actually needed money to settle my family matters. So I started performing and even offering sexual services to the clients who chose me. The most I ever made was 1,500 in a single night. I was able to give good food, necessities, and even managed to bring my kids for holidays. But after doing it for about 3 years, I started feeling a bit weird. There were multiple occasions where I actually came across the clients in public with their family. And even worse, I had a client who was a parent to my child's classmate. I received non-stop texts from clients who kept booking my time, and some even offered to pay me to meet me outside my working hours. I started feeling that I am no different than a prostitute who served in a brothel. But what could I do? I couldn't find a job. I couldn't live this life. Until one day, my child asked me, "Mommy, what do you work as?" I am supposed to do an essay about my parents' career. I did not know what to say, but lied to my kid. I started feeling depressed at the life I was leading until I met an ex-colleague who actually told me that she got out of the life and started a small business. She offered me to work with her in sales and offered to teach me how to make money. I did it. After more than 6 years being a butterfly, I left the job. I am proud to say that I am successful now, but I do not have wads of cash nightly. I get sufficient sustenance and I'm able to raise my children. I really wish that all those ladies in this line are able to find a way out, as it feels so bad to think about living such hell for years. I just simply wish to pray for these ladies to find their exit from the industry and make a decent living outside. Thank you for sharing my story. So guys, let's dissect this story. Why did she choose this life? Well, her life went through to a point that she has no other choices of work. She got no skills. And when it comes to time, it is just not feasible for her to work in a 9 to 5 because no one to take care of the kids and so on and so forth. And it was tough on her at that time. And that's the reason when this opportunity came about, she took it. So what did she face? Well, after a while, she knew that the men there were just to enjoy and look for sensual touches or even sexual favors. So money was easy as long as she was willing, you see. She started it. She didn't do any services until such time that she gave it a try. Once she started seeing the money, it is a repeated cycle. So what happens as the time goes by? So she started to see clients outside. She saw them outside with their families. She knew that she's just serving their needs, you see. None of them will be able to acknowledge her outside unless they're alone. But if they're with their wives, they will just probably act as though they don't know her. And once she was questioned by her child, that was when she knew that she had no pride to share what her career is. And she was lucky. She was lucky. To her, she was lucky because she managed to find an ex-colleague who got out of the life and offered her a good job. And she took it. So, if we look at just some opinions of this, of course, it's easy to say that there are actually many kinds of jobs available outside. But the thing is, different jobs require different skills. As such, you need to remember, even though you are not someone with a good education level, it doesn't mean you cannot survive here in Singapore. There are some skill courses available that doesn't require you to have a degree to enter, and with that cert, you are able to get a job. There's even a lot of self-help or even those organizations that's willing to assist you to get a job. You see? Yeah, sometimes it may not match, but fine, there is always something. Another thing is social media. Right now, there's a lot of people who turn into influencers who actually was approached by companies to do ads for them. These are multiple ways to make money. You see? Other thing is like if you don't have a driving license, you can't do PHV, you can also do delivery. Of course, it is hard work. I'm not saying that it's easy. But if let's say you would prefer a very fixed timing, then there's also those hourly paid waitress or even retail assistants, depending lah. There are some, even 7-Eleven also is 24 hours, you see. And all I can say is it's actually easy to comment. However, when we are actually faced with such choices in dire times, many would succumb to the offer. If you're already so much in debt, if you're already a person that cannot give even basic necessities to your family, if there is an offer to make money, wouldn't you take it? If that's the only choice, wouldn't you do it? So I don't blame her for taking this. But of course, I pray that a lot of these people can get a better life out there. They don't deserve to work in such an environment. And I believe it will actually remain rampant lah. These things, no matter how you try to control it, as long as there is a way, someone out there is gonna do it. And it's a quick choice for quick money. Which other job within the short period of time you can earn $100 all the way until thousands of dollars? But the main thing is it will cause you to feel that your worth is low, you see. After a while doing it, you question yourself. You can lie to anyone, but how do you lie to yourself? Are you happy doing this job or just because of the fact that you get the money? It will also slowly affect your mental health. You start feeling that you're lesser of a human being than another person with a normal job because you find that you're doing something that no one wants to. Anyone given a choice would choose another method rather than this. And of course, the types of peers you meet there, some of them might be good, but there are also those who actually may influence you to go into drug consumption. And of course, working in this line, you're continuously drinking. So if you continue to drink, what about your health? Your liver? How long can you actually take it daily drinking? And performing uncontrolled sexual acts. What about those sexual diseases or even HIV? Do you know that person just because of money? What if you get any of this? Is it worth? It's a very tough episode to go through. I know there are some people out there who are still facing this, and I truly hope that you find your way out and you find your way to the right path. Something that you can be proud of to tell your children, rather than having to live a life that you find should be a secret all the way through. So, I would like to leave you with this quote. When we are in the lowest ditch in life, we tend to look at whatever fastest way we can find to climb out. However, the choice we make will forever leave a dent on our lives should we choose the wrong path. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode of Suffer in Silence SG. My name is Rizwan Juraimi. If you like, please hit the like button, subscribe, even hit the notification bell so that you will know when we posted a new episode. See you soon, guys.